So welcome back, everyone. I recently shared a picture in the community section asking if you all would like to see the reveal of the top part of this cabinet here in our kitchen, or as my husband calls it, the At Home with Zane set, because most of my videos that I do are right here. If you all wanted to see the reveal after I completed the process of changing out the decor at the top of this cabinet, or if you wanted to be along with me on the process of doing so. So I'm not changing anything in this area of the cabinet. I actually have these recipes. I did a video on this. I framed these index card recipes. They were my grandmother's. She passed away August 22nd of last year, and so I keep these out here at all times. And the other decor is just very basic and simple, and I like it. So I'm not going to mess with any of that. I don't want too much harvest going on in this room because it's not a very large room to begin with. So we're going to change out the decor at the top of the cabinet. We're going to change out our plates over here, and then I have new ribbon to go on both of these wreaths on these doors. I had a lady who messaged me, this has been a while back, and she said, will you please tell me where those two doors lead to? And so I told her that this goes to our pantry, and that is the door to our basement. And actually, the basement door closes. Our steps are down here behind this cabinet, but we always keep it open because the cat's box is down there. So that door actually, there's nothing behind it. It actually should be closed. But since it's always open, there is a eucalyptus wreath that hangs on that door as well. And I know I've shared with all of you before, on all of the interior doors of our home, we have these wreaths, except for down our hallway. Our two office doors and our master bedroom have a different style wreath, but all of the other doors, the kitchen, the linen closet, the two doors in the family room, those all have these wreaths on them. Everybody asks me all the time if I made them. No, I did not. They ask where I got them. I got them at a local store here called, pardon me, Three French Hens. But I'm sure you can find them online if you're interested. So we're going to change out the ribbons on these two wreaths. I got this ribbon at the Dollar Tree, and it's plaid, but it's got all the autumn colors in it. It's got the chocolates, it's got a little bit of gold, it's got the dark cranberry, it's got all the colors of fall. So I picked up two of those. And then if you saw my video from the front sitting room, you know I bought one of these large swags at Tuesday morning to use as our mantle scarf, or our mantle garland, or whatever you want to call it. And the reason I went that way is because our mantle top is only 35 inches long, and this was 34 and a half, so it fit perfectly. And you get a whole lot of bang for your buck in these. I mean, in this one, we're getting the sunflowers, we're getting a velvet pumpkin, there's all these gorgeous corn husks, there's berries, there's leaves, you name it, and it's chucked full. This was actually $24.99, and I got it for 15% off because the little hanger thing over here is a little bit loose. Well, I'm not planning to hang it anyway, so that worked out for me perfectly. So this is full of all sorts of harvest goodies, and that's why we're going to use that on the top of our shelf. So the last thing I picked up was from the Dollar Tree as well. I picked up two of these sunflower plates. And the reason that I like these is because there are sunflowers in this beautiful garland. There's a very large sunflower over here. And the theme that I'm going with on top of our cabinet is pumpkins. The theme in our front sitting room was leaves, as you know, in our cabinet, but I'm doing pumpkins on top of our cabinet here. And so since this has this beautiful orange velvet pumpkin over here, and then it's got our pomegranates and our berries and these large, lovely sunflowers, I figured what's more appropriate than this beautiful, very inexpensive Dollar Tree sunflower plate. So I picked up 2 of those, and we're going to be using those in our plate rack here. So the first thing that we need to do, and I'm going to shift the camera so that you can see, because right now you're probably saying, I don't see anything on the top of that cabinet. We're going to shift the camera rather, so that you can see the top of the cabinet, and I'm going to commence with taking down the decor that's up there and prepping it so that we can put our new decor up. So I have no method on taking these items down whatsoever. However, I did clear off some space on the bottom here so that I can set these items down here, and then I can transport them off to wherever they go. So let's start by taking these items down off of our shelf up here. So now that the surface is all cleared off and clean, we're going to start adding our fall decor. And everything that I'm using up here, I shopped my home for, with the exception of what I purchased at Tuesday Morning, the large autumn swag, or whatever you want to call it. We're going to use that up here. Everything else came from my house, things I had. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, this is a shelf, and you can hang it this way or this way, but I'm going to actually use it as a riser. So the first thing I'm going to do is add this to the top of our cabinet here. And we're going to use that as a riser to elevate some of the things that are going to be behind our garland. So the next thing I'm going to do is add these little cake plates. I have 3 of them. This is all just stuff I'm thinking of off the top of my head. As you see, it was still put together. I've done nothing with this, so we're gonna hope that it is not a flop. But these are just some ideas I ran through my head to see if they would work. So the first thing I came up with was using the shelf as a riser, but then also using 3 cake plates, little cake plates, to elevate things some more. So we're just going to set these up here as well, because I think we need a little bit more elevation than what we're going to get out of just the shelf. And I don't know that for certain, but I have a hunch. So we now have our little cake plates lined up there. And I'm going to grab, I think this one. We'll start with this pumpkin. And then I'll do this one. So we've got our big white pumpkin there. One of our rustic pumpkins that we did as a DIY together over here. And then on this side, I think I'm going to use this burlap pumpkin. So now that we have our 3 pumpkins up there, we're going to add, maybe we'll try our scarecrows. So I have one little scarecrow here that I'm going to place right up here, kind of towards the front. And then I'll wait to see if I want to use the other one. So now we're going to put up our swag. So here we go. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Okay, so we have our swag up here, and I think that looks really, really nice. There's one little spot that I can see where a little bit of the white of the cake plate is coming through. So I do have some smaller pumpkins, and I'm gonna see if I can work this into this garland to make it look like it was part of it. There we go, perfect. That covered that up. So I do have a couple more pumpkins, but I think we're good as far as that goes. But like I said, I started to plan this out in my head. So I knew I wanted to get the swag. I knew I wanted it to be pumpkins. So I did dig out what I thought I needed. And you guys, I think we estimated it really well, because I'm going to put this little guy over here. I'm going to put him right here to create some balance. So he is a little bit more forward over here than that one, who is pushed back a little bit. So I'm going to give you a close-up shot of what this looks like. Okay, so here's what that looks like, you guys. I think we did a pretty good job, you know, given that we're just using all pumpkins and a few little scarecrows, but this swag just makes it look like it's completely full of all kinds of autumn decor. So I think we did good. Okay, now we're gonna work on our plates. Okay, so now we're on the other side, and here's our plate rack. So we're gonna take our other plates down. These are my everyday lovely plates. I love these. They have a beautiful pattern on them that you probably can't really see, but I have an entire set of this china and I love it. Our 2 sunflower plates we got from the Dollar Tree. Try to set that down without breaking it. And what I think I'm going to do is, because the large sunflowers on this side of this one, I think I'm going to reverse it on the bottom one. That way it looks similar, matchy-matchy, but not exactly the same. Okay, so I know that the camera set at an angle. I did that on purpose so that you guys could see both of the wreaths. You can see the top now as well, and you can get a view of how it looks with our plates. And I think it looks really, really nice. So now what we're gonna do is change out the ribbon on our wreaths, and I think that's gonna have a big impact. Okay, so I have both of our wreaths here, and here's a close-up. Since so many people always ask, here you go. Here's what they look like. They're really pretty. And you know how I clean these? I take them down. I take my hair dryer on. It's not my hair dryer. It's my husband's. But I take the hair dryer. We'll call it our hair dryer. And I use it on cool, on high, and I just blow dry the wreath. That's how I do all of our wreaths in our house. It works beautifully. And it's also what I do when I bring one of our Christmas trees up that we leave put together downstairs. I take my hair dryer on cool, and I just blow all the little dust off of it. Our other trees are in bags, but that one actually stands up. Excuse me. So we're gonna put some ribbon on our wreaths. Now, I don't know how much ribbon I'm going to need, so I kept one piece as a guide to see. We may not need to go that generously, but we're gonna see. That's why I bought 2 packages, or 2 rolls rather, is because I didn't know if one was going to be enough, but I think it's going to. I really do. We're gonna hope. And then all I do with these, they do have little tiny hangers on the back here, but it's actually really hard to squeeze ribbon through that. So I always just bring it through the front like this. And now you can kind of see this pretty autumn color that we have going on. Okay, so now that we have one of our wreaths hung up, I'm going to do the other one. And I always kind of do them differently. Sometimes I do a bow, sometimes I just leave a little tail. And they're just hung by command hooks on the door. So we'll do this one and then we'll see how it all turns out. Okay, so we appear to be complete. So I'm gonna show you what our wreaths look like. So as you can see here, I just used the chocolate colored, gold color, autumny color ribbon, and I decided to just do a little tail this time, and that also helps to somewhat camouflage the command hooks. So that's what both of our wreaths look like. So thank you all so much for coming along on this little decorating journey with me. I think it turned out really well. It's exactly what I imagined in terms of the colors that I wanted in this room. It's just enough because this room, like I said, is not that large, and so I wanted to add a little bit of those autumn colors, the oranges, the rust, you know, the chocolates and things like that. But I didn't want to go overboard and, you know, have it look like a pumpkin blew up in here. And so I think what we did with our touches up here with our pumpkins and our little scarecrows, along with that beautiful swag, and then the simple little touches with changing out the ribbons and changing out the plates has made a world of difference.